Are you tired of your Power Apps buttons just sitting there and looking like this? Well, let's change that and give it some life so it looks more like this. Hey guys, my name is Luke and welcome back to Learn Power Apps. Today we're going to talk about creating an animated button loader in Power Apps. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our Canvas app. Today I'm going to be starting with the brand new blank Canvas app, and I'm going to add in a container. Now we don't want a horizontal or vertical container, we just want a regular container, and we're going to put this about in the center of our canvas, and we want to give it a width of about 150 and a height of about, let's go with 70. Let's make that just a little bit smaller. Let's make that a height of 50. And now we're going to take our container and we're going to put it in the very center of our app just so that we can see it. It doesn't really matter what placement you put it at. And I'm going to set the color to be this nice bright blue. This is just for the sake of the tutorial. You can choose whatever color that you would like. And we're going to make the border radius somewhere around 20. Let's actually make it 30. Here we go. And I'm going to turn off the drop shadow for now. So now we have our container. This is going to be the container that houses our button and our SVG loader and the timer that we'll be using eventually down the road. So I'm going to go into my container and I'm going to add a button inside of my container, and this is a crucial part of this process. You want to make sure that you put in a classic button, not a modern button. So I'm going to click classic and I'm going to set that color to be the same as my container. I'm going to make the width to be parent.width, and I'm going to make the height to be parent.height, and I'm going to make sure my X and my Y are both set to 0. So now all of that is good to go. I'm going to turn off border radius. Now I'm going to preview my button. Now as you can see, when I click on my button, it has that weird flash. We want to make sure that the colors are the same in all the different styles. So for the hover color, we want to make sure that we set this to be self.color, and then for the hover fill we want to do self.fill and by -10%. For the press color we're going to do self.color, and then for the press fill we're going to do self.fill so that it looks the way we want it to. We're also going to real quick turn off the focused border, and we're also going to turn off just the regular border. So now when we preview it, it should look something like that. It looks a lot simpler, it looks a lot nicer, and a lot more modern, which is what we want in our application. And I'm going to name this something like save. And we'll name this btn action save. We'll name the container ctr action save. There we go. So there's our button. It's ready to go, and it's ready to be created into that beautiful loader that I talked about previously. Now, if you have an eye for design and you like creating modern buttons, I have a special pack just for you. It's completely for free and it's in the description. It's going to come with these modern buttons, which is the primary, secondary, the save button that we're creating today, and a subtle button, and then a modern card that has a beautiful HTML drop shadow on it that looks way better than the Power Apps drop shadows, and it also comes with a modern navigation bar. Back to our loader button, we're now going to add in our SVG loader graphic. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in an image, and same thing here. I want to make sure this is parent.width and make this parent.height. Whoops, parent.height, and I want to make sure the X is set to 0. Now we're going to go to svgbackgrounds.com to find our SVG loader. Now this website is a free license website. You need to make sure that you're giving them credit if you use this in your applications. So in order to grab our SVG loader, I'm going to go in, I'm going to select the one that I want. I set the color to white so you can't really see it. They have many different options on here. I like the bouncing circles, so I'm going to click copy. And then I'm going to go to this Power Apps SVG converter at this website, and I'm going to paste it in, and it's automatically going to take that SVG and make it into the right code that we need for our Power App. Now I'm going to go to the image settings on my image, and I'm just going to paste that SVG, and it is going now. So of course we don't want this to show all the time. We only want it to show when the user clicks the save button. So in order to do that, we need to set a variable inside of our save button in the onSelect command. So we want to set var save loader to true, and then we want to add a timer in. Now I'm going to add my timer outside of the button just for now so that I can see what's going on. We're going to move this down here, and we're going to set this to be about 4,000, which will equal 4 seconds. And in the on end of this timer, I'm going to call another function. So we have our on start, which is in that button. Now we need to have an on end for our loader. So we want to make this to be false. Now we're going to copy this, and we're actually going to set the start of our timer to be this. So whenever it's set to true, it starts a timer, and then the timer will set it to false at the end. So now we're going to go in, we're going to move this to the back, send it back, and now we're going to set our button, the visibility, to whatever the opposite of the var save loader is. So before we do that, we're actually going to make sure that our timer is working right. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to click save. It should run the timer, and then on the end of timer, it should set that variable to false. So we're going to double check. Sure enough, it's false. So we know it's working now. We're going to copy that variable, and we're going to paste that right into the visible section. But we want to do the opposite, so we're going to stick a exclamation mark in the front of it so that it only shows when we want it to show, and vice versa. So I'm going to click save. We wait 4 seconds, and it's back to where it was. Now, of course, we don't want this timer to be showing, so we're just going to copy it. We're going to paste it into our container, and we'll go ahead and send it to the back, and we'll turn the visibility to off. With that being said, our SVG animated button should be ready to go. Well, there you have it. You can now successfully take your application to the next level with this quick little trick in Power Apps. Now with that being said, you're probably going to want to format things just a little bit different if you're working with a patch function or maybe a clear collect or something of that sort where you're working with data where you'll actually need to save something. You won't use a timer in those situations. You'll just have that patch function be right after you set that variable. With that being said, we'll talk about that in another video. So be sure that you subscribe and like this video. If you have any thoughts or any questions, feel free to comment down below. And once again, make sure you go grab that free component pack, that YAML component pack. All you have to do is just copy and paste it, and it's good to go. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.